What we'd like to show you today for the very first time on video, I think, in fact I'm sure, is Nepenthes barcelonae. This is from a large number of different clones, and they've all turned out to be relatively similar to one another. Now, this species was sold for many years as Nepenthes enigma, reason being that the item was originally provided to us labeled as Nepenthes enigma, but we now know that to be incorrect. Correspondence with Francois May and the taxonomist Martin Cheek, who described the species, tells us this is pretty much undoubtedly Nepenthes barcelonae. The lower pictures are, so far on all the plants we've raised, there are 5 plants altogether hanging here, a uniform orange colour, slightly varying in shade. There's a plant next to me here which is a bit more red, I'll show that in a second. But the interesting characteristic, or one of the defining characteristics, is that it doesn't have any wings on any of the pictures at all that we've ever seen. Lower pictures on many Nepenthes have wings down the front of the picture. This is completely devoid of wings on lower pictures. And going up the plant, let's have a look at the intermediate pictures. There we go. Intermediates here. And hanging above my head, there's a whole mass of upper pictures. A little difficult to see, but hopefully that's in focus. Upper pictures are, in our experience, always this color, sort of a porcelain texture to them and a very light translucent green. And lower pictures are usually always like this. One of the fascinating characteristics, this is clearly related to Nepenthes cebuyanensis, are the burrowing tendrils, very long tendrils. You can see the length of the tendrils here. Pictures haven't actually yet formed on these tendrils, and they're still going. And they seem to aim to burrow into moss. We've got an example. Look at this, you can see this here. This has decided to go through and burrow into the moss, entirely of its own volition. And it's emerged again further down the plant. You can see that picture there moving as I tug the tendril. So it's anchored itself. My theory is a pretty simple one, is that these plants grow in the Philippines on exposed mountains, where there are frequently very strong typhoons that would damage or destroy the plants as they're so exposed. So the anchoring is a method of actually holding itself down, not just relying upon the roots, but relying upon many tendrils literally buried in moss to prevent the plant being blown off the mountain. So there we go. That's a very fascinating characteristic which we see with cebuyanensis. But unlike cebuyanensis, which produces maybe 1 or 2 pitchers per plant at any one time, this is a prolific producer of pitchers. Quite diminutive. This is as large as we've seen them get. So it's quite a small, very cute pitcher on the plant. And this plants scramble all over the nursery here. We've got a huge mass of uppers. And in fact, let's move along to a completely different part of the nursery. This is the same plant. I don't know if we can see it through the hangers there. There we go. That's the same plant. Scrambling, that must be 10 or 15 feet away from the mother plant or the base of the plant. And there we have an enormous mass of shoots at the tip of this particular growing point. They haven't all done that on this plant. Some of the other growing points are just continuing as normal, but this has decided now it's time to stop going upwards, and it's producing a huge number of tendrils. So the other shoots on this plant just go on and on. Really interesting. It's not been in cultivation very long, and I think quite a few people do have it as Nepenthes enigma. So if you do have it in your collection labeled as Enigma, it's time to change the label. The same plant, but now we're fairly sure of the name. That's Nepenthes barcelonae.